Hey y'all, it's April. It's April the 3rd, 2020, and we're just gonna go ahead and dive on into things. Alright? A little bit late. Definitely later than I was planning on it, but I got a warm cup of coffee right here and I was just enjoying myself. I'm actually looking at a brand new painting up on my wall. It's beautiful. I'll show y'all later. But, um, Shoot, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was getting that together. I was doing that. I got my sprout garden going. I got this and that going, and I did a little bit of cleaning up and stuff. I made myself busy. I've been up for a couple of hours. All right, you know what I'm saying, living that nightlife. And also, right before the broadcast, I just actually got into some covers. And how I would love to start off the show with some vibes, right? We're not we're not going to even attempt it. We're not going to attempt it tonight, just because it's got this buffering issue, and I don't want to put y'all through that. But I just actually checked it. I was checking out a few covers, but the last one, the one to the left, all the way to the left, that's my man and my lady. I guess it just started out. I just found them. Called Herbs and Ginger, right? And they did the return. It was excellent, right? All these people did real good, but the return, reflect love back. For those of y'all who don't know this, it don't matter, right? It's just some people who I listen to. Reflect love back. Lacey Sturm, her husband Joshua Sturm, all right. But this is a cover. It's done by Herbs and Ginger, and that's who I checked out. Promise you, it's excellent, all right. But I don't even know if we could play it. Like, look, if I play it, see, I'll play it like a little tiny bit, all right, and you're gonna get a taste of it, all right? Because I know how much it is to switch off to different videos and go back and forth. That's not fun, all right? But this Hearts and Ginger.
Hello.
Well, let's skip past this because we're gonna start buffering. See, it's gonna play some nice acoustic set. A couple, man and a lady. Out for me, promising that there's more than I've ever known before. I wanna hide them. Oh yeah, it's a real good song. We don't want to start buffering and stuff, but I wanted to give you a taste, just so to put you on the hook and stuff, man. It's real good. And then I checked out the channel. It's only a recently done channel. And I kind of find out that it must be a lot, even more people. There was a minority of people who go on and create content and stuff on places like YouTube. But there must have been an upkick in that. It must have been just recently because I've seen that all over the place, especially to include with these quarantines and lockdowns and stuff. All right, people who just have been living their lives. I decided to make channels and stuff. Might be a good idea and stuff, but I don't know about YouTube. But YouTube is good for certain things. Like, for example, I just found these guys on YouTube, right? So it's a fantastic place that is ran by Nazis, and it's unfortunate, right? I hate to keep bringing that up, but it's actually a very big problem. All right, so I just wanted to give y'all a taste of that before we get into some stuff. And thing is, I don't exactly know what we're getting into. Man, I gotta explain. Well, I don't have to explain, but I want to. All right, is that I should be on D Live. Hey, by the way, Gerardo.tv/D. Or wait, damn it, my bad. It's actually DLive.tv/Gerardo. All right, exactly how you think it would be spelled, and you can check me out over there. And I know I haven't been on over there so good. All right. But check me out and go ahead and follow. You'll notice it's a different format over there in D-Live. Certain things you can do. If you can follow, then you'll get my updates and stuff. If you subscribe, that actually costs money, and I don't even know how that works. I'm not monetizing anything quite yet. All right, so don't even worry about that. But I do want to get back. I want to go on D-Live and stuff. So I just gotta figure out how to do it in a format that I like in particular, and that's been kind of rough and stuff. I've been using Streamlabs, and I don't know, I was gonna download StreamYard, and there's all sort of different options, but StreamYard actually you need either a laptop or a desktop computer, and I know I'm getting into some technical mumbo jumbo that probably none of y'all out there you can even understand it. You can't keep up with that sort of terminology, so I'm gonna stop. In the meantime, it's like I think, and I also want to put out there just to be like very open. And I see that somebody up in the building, and I appreciate you. All right, whether or not you comment, I appreciate you a lot. Thing is, and you probably noticed this as well, but I just want to be full frontal, like just to let you know that I know that you know. It's that like during the week, it seems as though at the beginning of the week I get all kind of like pumped up and energetic and stuff, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll do this internet stuff. When I can put it in my schedule, and I'll pump in some at the beginning of the week. I'll pump it in, but at the end of the week, you might notice a drop off, and sincerely, it is. I just don't get on the internet. It's like I am on the internet listening to weird stuff. But as far as like pushing buttons and stuff, man, it's just aggravating me, right? Or it would aggravate me if I did it, and I don't. And that's why I come up so late on like a Friday evening and stuff. And God bless these, well, I mean, everybody out there. But, it's kind of interesting, this whole quarantine situation also. I have to point out. 'Cause a lot of people are on the internet and doing these things. And, it's kind of like you don't even have to compete necessarily with the Friday nights anymore. Who's out there having Friday nights? All right, the thing is, people were having Friday nights not too long ago, maybe just a few weeks ago. And I actually haven't had Friday nights, dude. I mean, I assume a lot of the people who come through and straggle through here, they don't have Friday nights either. If you know what I mean, the whole sensationalism of it. All right, but we are actually getting down to the nitty gritty. And well, the thing is, we're going to feel it out. I do want to hear from people up in the comments, but we are going to feel it out. All right, that's what we're going to do. All right, because we have no choice tonight. All right, didn't exactly prepare, but I do want to say this, and it's probably not most people out there are going to know off top what exactly it is I'm talking about. All right, and I just want to, talk to you about it because you probably don't know. All right. But I just want to say this, it's like, okay, we seem to be in a situation, you can call it what you want, and I would call it a war, but I'm not out here like advocating violence against nobody. So, but it is a war, and then this war, it becomes all encompassing, right? And some people actually go off on the deep end and start to panic and stuff, and they start to lose it. I heard a story just today, actually, of a lady who got so worked up about this corona and stuff. We got so worked up and, overzealous, and she's prone to have panic attacks. And some people out there know what that is. It is debilitating. It is crippling. And it's not too much you could do against it, from what I understand, with a lot of these people with panic attacks. And I've had panic attacks, and I felt it. It's not good at all, right? Don't really have any more necessarily, but I can feel for people out there. Anyway, she just turned over and died and stuff, man. It's like 30 some odd, and it wasn't from coronavirus. It was from corona propaganda, literally. All right, at least that was the story that I heard allegedly from her husband's mouth. I actually heard it, and I mean, I don't mean to have to prove it, but I actually heard it on Jesse Lee Peterson. If you were to catch one of his broadcasts today, he had that guy on. In fact, I think he has a clip. If you go to Jesse Lee Peterson's YouTube, you probably find a clip of that, actually. In fact, I think I saw the clip earlier that he posted it up, because Jesse Lee Peterson has a podcast, which I listen to a lot. It's like a radio show, and I'll catch it almost daily on the weekdays and stuff. And also, he has church on Sunday. So a lot of people are quarantining themselves and stuff, and they're doing that quarantine church and internet church and stuff. That's what they're doing now. All right, that's what I would imagine that they're doing here in San Antonio as well. But I've been doing that, actually. I've been on going on Jesse Lee's Sunday service, which is it's like interactive. It's conversational. Man, I'm tired of looking through all these clips. All right, we type in Jesse Lee Peterson and get y'all the proof. And just to let y'all know where you can find it, where this lady, she actually went ahead and died. She didn't have the virus, but just panic attacked. See if I type in Jesse Lee Peterson, it'll give me it should give me his channel, right? All right, so this is where it should be at. right? He just had a radio broadcast. Let me go to videos and stuff, man. I'm a dang pilot up in here and say, so your thoughts want one thing. They want your life, right? And Jesse Lee Peterson, he talks about some deep stuff. You'll always be her baby. That was 5 hours ago. Gosh, I don't even know where to find it. Anyways, maybe I made it up. But this dude was talking about how his wife went over, she just went ahead and killed over and died. All right. I forget why I bring that up. But okay, so people could get all panic and stressed and stuff like that. I wouldn't suggest it. And I can't tell you what to do. And I can't tell no one what to do. And I wouldn't dream of it, actually. But I would suggest not to. That being said, okay, real briefly, I just want to go ahead and mention, and everybody knows his name at this point, right? I lived through a time when most people did not know his name, all right? And he was in my head tinkering around and telling me certain things and asking me certain things. And it's just blowing my mind and stuff. And for a long time, hardly anybody who I knew who Alex Jones was, right? And so I would just go around and be hearing the things that he was saying and stuff. And just, I wouldn't hardly tell anybody these things because honestly, these things that he's been saying, and I've been listening to him for, I don't know, I don't know how long, 5, 6 years. His radio broadcast very, very entertaining to say the least, right? I think everybody knows it. I mean, the king of memes, right? Who's going to dispute that out there? Besides, say, Donald Trump or something, who else would be the king of memes besides Alex Jones, whether you like him or not, or whether you even trust him or not? All right. Oh, man, Unwrapped by Brenda said, good evening. Every time I try to get to your D Live, I can't get past Geraldo Rivero. What? Geraldo Rivero's on there? All right, I don't even think that's his name. That's somebody else. All right, but I was thinking of, isn't there a Geraldo Rivera? All right, don't tell me Geraldo Rivera is on D Live because that'll piss me off. All right, but I mean, if it's a Rivera, I guess that's all right. But the thing is, I'm not Geraldo. All right. I just gotta let y'all know, but I've gotten that a million times, all right, in my life. I don't know but if you type in Gerard, do you get Geraldo? I'm not sure how it goes. It should just be Gerardo, but you know what? I'm gonna have to leave a link, and I've done it a couple of times, but I should do it more often, and I will. All right, it's gonna take me like at least half an hour after this video is up. Well, you know, I mean, it was. You know, it's like I can comment, right? I don't know how to work the particulars on here. I could say something, right? So everybody knows, right? That's my name, I guess. Totally doxed myself. But I did it a long time ago. That is my name, all right? And then, but if it's in Spanish, you go boop, and add an O to it, all right? And that's me on D Live. And if they're giving you the runaround, I just don't even know what to say about that, all right? And I'm gonna have to work on that. And D Live, here's the thing: what everybody needs to know, all right? If you're curious, is that on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if you don't hear from me for like a couple days, probably I'm on D Live, and I'm definitely on BitChute, which I should be more fluent on, anyways. All right, but I should get to, especially this weekend. I have some time. We'll see. But you can find me on BitChute and D Live if you don't hear from me from here. All right, and that's pretty much the deal that we got going here. All right, but you know, like I've explained before, and I'll just do it again, is that YouTube's so damn easy. And the way I got it set up, I already know how to do it and stuff, and it doesn't take very long to jump on live. If it'd take me like more than 5 minutes to jump on live, I probably wouldn't do it, man. I'd probably be like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm just gonna live life somewhere else. But instead, like, it's so easy to jump on live on YouTube, and that's a reason why I'm here. The main reason is because of Brenda, if I'm being very honest, and everybody else too, Leah and everybody else. There's Paul, of course, legends. Like, I mean, everybody's legends, but Maitre Mark on YouTube, Bart Fine, all over the damn place, internationally known, talked about and scoffed about by a Newsweek magazine. All right, the man Bart Fine. There's a lot of people out here, and I appreciate the crap out of them too as well. All right, they might be checking out the recording. I miss a lot of people, but just leave me a comment and stuff, and I'll definitely shout you out and stuff, man. Anyways, I was talking about Alex Jones. The reason why, and you might not be aware of this, is especially the past couple days, maybe especially yesterday on his broadcast. There's certain broadcasts that you can go to Alex Jones and people see him where he loses it, buddy. I mean, to where honestly, everybody in the room falls dead silent and is looking at this guy losing it. Everybody, and they don't remember a damn word. Like they shut the hell up and just be like, "Oh man, what's about to happen here?" When Alex Jones loses it, and that's what's kind of like people don't. I know a lot of people don't like him about for that kind of reason. Stuff people negate his credibility because of that sort of stuff. And here's what I gotta say, and I want to just reaffirm: at this point in time, we're in a situation where it seems as though we're being attacked. Right? A lot of people would giggle and scoff at that. The idea that we're being attacked, but we certainly are. Not only on a spiritual level, which is obvious, but just like on a very external level, we're being attacked, all right, in all sort of different angles. And we have been, but it's just being ratcheted up at this point. And it's getting a lot of people, like it's touching people's daily lives. People can't get toilet paper for some reason sometimes. And then that's going to even get worse. And that by itself is ridiculous, right? But that's going to get worse when you think about toilet paper is like one of the least. I mean, it's a luxury. It really is a luxury, all right? By definition, and there's certain other things that's going to obviously disappear here in the near future. You can look forward to it. And that's best case scenario, all right? And I say that as a simple brain person, all right? I can see that coming down the pike. All right, but okay, so as I'm building up, and I'm just doing my thing. I think everybody out there is individuals, all right? I know Brenda is very individual with her stuff, so she would agree. But I wonder how many people out there. It's like we're all individuals, man. We're all delicate little snowflakes, and we do our own things. I've been doing my own thing, like I do this internet thing sometimes. Touch base with y'all because I want to get some information from y'all. I want to squeeze it out of you. You know what I'm saying? And I have my methods. I'll get the information out of you. All right. So, okay, it's just encompassing my whole life. I gotta say, when I wake up till the very moment I go to sleep, you might look at that and say, "Oh man, that's a problem for your lifestyle. Gonna get you a heart attack and stuff because you keep on dwelling upon the fact that there's a battle going on and people are attacking you in a chemical sense and like all sort of different propaganda senses. All right, in a legal sense, they're coming after you and people who look just like you. Right, so you might think, oh, it's a bad deal, but the thing is, I find personally, in my own personal, what I want to put out there is it's not really a big deal. All right, I understand that that's what's going on here. I understand it's crucial, and that our every move is crucial. Our decisions are important, right? And so every day we should live, or not say we, but I'll go ahead and say I should live in the present, in that very moment, and do what's in front of me that needs to get done. All right? And stop thinking so much about the future, the past and stuff. Yeah, everything's all worrisome. Yeah, it seems as though people have been getting up to all sort of tomfoolery, and I'm talking about it on a deadly serious level. A disgusting level. All right? And so a lot of people would be all freaked out, their blood pressure. I come from a line of people who's got bad blood pressure, all right? I don't believe I really have blood, but the last time I had it checked, the last few times that it's actually been checked on me, my blood pressure's A-okay, all right? Because I don't get all worked up. Let's think about it. It's like when you fully accept that sort of thing, that you're under attack, buddy, and there's nothing you could do about it, right? And actually, you've been under attack since day one. Start to accept it and just, absorb it into your whole mentality. But it's not to say that you don't relax at certain points in the day. It's not to say that you don't savor all the amazing blessings around you, because I can't even count. Now that I look around myself, I can't even count the amount of blessings that are around me, all right? And in front of me, all right, I got a dear co-host named Deborah, all right? And she's about to rock y'all's socks, all right? But here's the thing. Why I brought up Alex Jones, and it was important, is that he sometimes loses it. And people, they're like, oh, his credibility. Look at him. He's stammering and stumbling and fumbling, and he's claiming this and that. All right. A lot of people like to say Alex Jones does this and that. Oh, he said this and that. Yeah, I doubt it. Typically, I doubt it. On 99% of the things that people say that Alex Jones has said, I know for a fact that he hasn't said, because I heard what he said when he said it. And then I saw when, like, 2 days later, everybody was like, oh, this is what Alex Jones said. No, he did not, because I heard what he said when he said it. And no, he didn't ever. Not like on a 99% basis, all right? Basically, that's what I found. And sometimes he does lose it. And sometimes he says wild things. Here's the thing: he's the king of memes, and you become the king of memes for a reason. Some people say they don't like Donald Trump and his Twitter. Donald Trump becomes the president for a reason. It's because of Twitter, all right? So it's like you can not like his Twitter all you want. All right, but Alex Jones is kind of the king of memes for a reason. If he was just doing that NPR mumbling, just jibber jabbering, style, nobody would know who he is. All right, so there is a reason why he kind of doesn't. It's a natural thing. I'm here to tell you, Central Texas people can get all worked up, man, just all worked up, and their veins will be popping out. They'd just be all red in the face and stuff, and that's just a day-to-day thing for them sometimes. Sometimes. But at the same time, we're also known for our laid backness. I think a lot of people call us slow, and maybe it is. But a lot of times we're very slow and polite, I guess you would say. Here's the thing: Alex Jones, at this point, I gotta stress, and you call me whatever you want, doesn't matter really. And I don't know exactly the rankings in the military, but I gotta say, Alex Jones is serving as my lieutenant right now, or whatever you call it, my general. Or maybe I'm the general, like me and General Shepard, we're the generals, lieutenant, there's captains and stuff like that. Alex Jones is not the boss necessarily, and the boss is always God anyways, all right, when you talk about the tippy top. But I mean, you go down in the human level, and Alex Jones isn't necessarily the boss, but he's pretty damn high up there, all right? And he might lose it to the point is where you get kind of scared. You're like, oh man, do I have to call the police? Like, or not the police, but an ambulance? Because like he's gonna pop a blood vessel or something. Yeah, maybe. But what I gotta stress is the things that he's talking about. Typically, he's not wrong about them. Typically, he's not the only one saying these things. Like it's not like he's inventing the things that he talks about. Other people have talked about the things that he talks about, and he just talks about them as well. And sometimes it gets all feverish, and he just blows up, blows a gasket. And it's like, damn, dude, like, what do I do now? Even as a listener, you're like, damn, dude, what do I do now? And that was kind of like it was yesterday. I don't know how the broadcast was today because I haven't cut it yet. But even still, that's my lieutenant, and I'm gonna have to back him up. And that's the thing, man. Take it for what it's worth. Also, he's been giving me supplies, and you can take that for what it's worth. I know a lot of people would say, "Oh man, you could waste all your money on supplements and things like that." Yeah, you could. And I know full well that you could. All right, Alex Jones. You can hate him all you want. Power packs his supplements like you wouldn't believe. I take his supplements like I cut them up like in little fractions. All right, because I can't even handle the whole supplement all at one time. I'll put it out there like that. But also, he's keyed in. He's not always right. Just like I'm not always right. Just like people ain't always right when they have these theories and opinions. We're kind of seeing through a haze and a fog and stuff. We're not always going to be right. So you can't really hold that against him unless you're trying to play God. And so he's my lieutenant just because he's more accurate than most. And I think when he talks about these things that a lot of people find outlandish, I'm of the opinion that he's a lot more accurate than most people have a feeling out there. Most people don't even really get it. That it's more than just criminality. Yeah, there's a lot of criminality, and you're going to see a lot more of it. That much I can promise you. But that's been put on you real recently. You're going to see all sort of crime bubbling up. It's beyond criminality. Right? I think everybody in the audience right now, I'm pretty sure they would agree that it's Satanism. We're not, I don't mean to stutter on you, but Satanism is what it is. And these people are getting down in just nasty, disgusting ways and stuff. And they got their methods. And I've heard of them. You know what's interesting is that their methods are almost, when you could think about it, if you could really put yourself in these people's shoes, it's just it's logical and methodical what they do, and they do it. And you might say, "Who's they?" You know exactly who I'm talking about and stuff. Those people who are drumming us up into all sort of calamity right now, for example. Right? I understand being cautious. I understand taking precautions and stuff. But those people drumming up fear and trying to stymie up the whole situation with Donald Trump and America and this dang disease, might I add, a Chinese communist disease. All right, those people, I would suggest, have malintent. All right. And they have very devious natures, and I think you've heard about it. So Alex Jones, he blows up and stuff, and I really can't blame him. All right, I really can't blame him. And he always winds up coming back maybe the next day and being like, okay, I got it together, you guys, and then let's go through the news. And he does it just about as good as anybody could expect anybody to do it. I've never done it so good. All right, and so that's who I'm looking at right now. And there's also other people who I look to and stuff just for insight, just for intel. All right, this is like a war necessarily. You would need intel. These are certain things. You need to understand what kind of battlefield you're playing on. And I think a lot of people are understanding that the battlefield has changed up quite a bit. We might actually talk about it before we get out of here. We got about 45 minutes left on the docket and stuff, man. Let's see if we can pound it in there. Because I think a lot of people are seeing that the landscape, I guess, has been shifted in a lot of ways, in a lot of curious ways, all right, in a lot of funny ways, actually, all right. Because sometimes you gotta laugh and stuff, man. That's kind of definitely a pressure release. I know everybody out there has kind of got some idea, but it's definitely good to exercise that idea. That laughter is going to help you out. It's going to, release the wiggles or the built up tension that you may be experiencing. And at the same time, laughter is also a very dangerous thing, right? Because laughter, the only reason that why it's dangerous is that it does not solve your problem. In fact, if you do have a problem, or something to deal with, the laughter is not going to solve your dang problem. All right, so a lot of people get carried away in the laughter, all right, such as comedians, and they get very depressed and weird stuff sometimes. All right, not all the time, but anyways, Alex Jones, he was talking about that sort of stuff. He was going off. I would agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm not here blowing up like that just because I can't speak that loud. All right, it would be kind of preposterous, but I do feel those kind of I don't know what you would call them, those vibes, all right? And everything is kind of getting hectic, very dramatic, all right? All built up. And it's interesting. We're like in the calm of the storm, if you will, all right? And like, quite sincerely, like on a global level or a flat earth level that nobody's seen before. I mean, as far as the calm before a storm, I mean, imagine you can go to most countries in the world and you could, like, if you had a drone, look over their cities and just desert. Where is everybody? In all the countries. All their highways just empty, dude. I mean, have you ever seen a calm like that? Have you ever seen a calm like that, you guys? All right, so the calm before the storm, and the storm is going to be real interesting. All right. And as has been described for years, all right, as something that I've kind of come to accept years ago, is that it's going to be somewhat like a depression, like the Great Depression. Except the only problem is we have no idea, in general, how to survive. I mean, back in that day, they knew a thing or two about surviving. At the same time, not to be all totally bleak, because we do have certain technologies these days that have kind of like bolstered our chance of survival here and there. Of course, becoming reliant and dependent on them obviously is going to lead to our weakening and, stuff like that. But anyways, so what the hell were we talking about? Alex Jones? The whole war? What we're doing? What we're thinking about? The landscape changing? This and that? All sort of calamity? What's going on in your neck of the woods? All right, I want to know. All right. So with that all being said, of course, I'll give you all updates on who to check for, and that's what I've been doing, right? In the meantime, I'm sure we got some screenshots. I want to check it out. Totally blacked them out, and I have no idea what it is we're about to look at. Right? I'm kind of interested. Um, Before we go into the screenshots, I just want to know how y'all feeling out there, and maybe what y'all are doing. Like, what's some nifty thing y'all been doing, right? For example, I've been dehydrating stuff. All right, I've been on a mad dehydrating kick, and I got a sprout garden, and I got an herb garden and stuff like that. All right, just things to do that are the exact opposite, basically, of what communist Chinese would want me to do. All right, and there's plenty of things out there. There's plenty of things that the Chinese Communist Party would not want you to do right now. I think we got to start thinking about it. All right, and I don't know what all includes. All right, I look around me and I see that there's a mask. All right, I don't be wearing masks necessarily, just like most people out there don't. But I was given a mask by my dad's girlfriend. All right, and she makes quilts. I don't want to get off on a tangent too much, but she made me a mask, right? And I might go ahead and wear it, I guess. I'm trying to think, what would the Communist Chinese Party not want me to do? Here's the thing. Don't trust anything coming from out of China, right? Sometimes it just comes to me. And if you don't hear anything else on this broadcast, don't you trust anything coming out of China. And I'm not being racist against Chinese people. Like, there's a lot of good Chinese people. It's a big place. Don't trust a damn thing coming out of China. All right, and we shouldn't have been. That's what's so crazy about this whole buildup, right? Is that's just one factor. It's like it was so suicidal. It was so satanic in nature to think that we could depend on China for all our things, for like 70% of our things, right? And to live in America thinking that like all our things are so nifty and our, lifestyle and stuff like that. That was so bad. And you look back, and people were saying it at the time. Everybody was saying it, but they weren't saying it like they're doing it now. It's like there is no reasonable way that we could possibly be depending on China, who is literally, you can't get your news in there. You can't get journalists in there hardly. And when they get in there, they better do what the hell they're talking. I mean, they better shut their damn mouths, basically. Right? And then to know personally from people who said it, who came from China, it's like, dude, China don't have no money in a lot of senses. They are slaves. The people are slaves. Right? A lot of people, had this and that to say about their American lifestyle before this all occurred only a few weeks ago, right? But at the same time, man, objectively speaking, who is going to compare us to China and say, "Oh yeah, we got it on level with China"? China's got it way worse, and everybody's already knew that, right? And so for the viruses popping up, you might say, "Oh, look at them, and they're monkeys, and they eat bats and rats and all sort of slippery slimies and creepy crawlies." People say that, but it's like, okay, yeah, that's a problem, and yeah, maybe they have certain kind of jungle areas around it, but at the same time, it's because they can't get nothing together. Obviously, that's the results. I mean, you can look at it on a simple, objective level and think, okay, when you're living in an organized way, you eventually you create farms. You could look at America, for example, the history of it. Eventually, you create farms. Sometimes the farms might be too big. People might argue, oh, that's too much, and you're doing too much of the same thing. But you organize into farms, and then you only start eating the things that you should eat, all right? And start discarding all the other BS that you shouldn't be eating, right? Because quite simply, there's these other animals that have certain lifestyles that you wouldn't want to eat their flesh because it's just disgusting, right? And instead, you regulate the lifestyles, and they're called farm animals. And these are very simple. We learned this in kindergarten, all right? We learned the whole, if you wanted to believe the bat rat soup stuff, well, we learned the answer to it in kindergarten. So, how's that? All right, but I don't believe it at all. Obviously it was a man manipulated virus, to say the least. It operates like the cold. In fact, the coronavirus is a cold, from what I understand, and so that's what is so the fact that it is a cold makes it so widely. That's one of the reasons why it's so easy to get. Because if you've ever heard of the common cold, that's one of the most common things on Earth. So it's weird when we think about it. It's like you probably already pondered it out there, but just for the rest of the audience, I want to say it's weird because we've always known about the common cold, and the common cold has been killing people this whole time. It's some small minority, but it's so common that you call it the common cold. And in fact, nothing else really has the name common except for common cold. And so now they got us in a situation where like, oh, they're like, oh, the corona. And sometimes even Fauci is up there, and he's the whole guy who's trying to like, he's the whole medical expertise that we got on here, trying to guide us through this. And even he's like, oh, this corona, we got to stop it out completely. We got to stop it out completely. Hey, how about you try to stomp out the common cold completely? You realize that's completely impossible, right? So you're talking all fantastical talk, and you're doing so in front of the White House press conference and all that. But I'm just supposed to go along with it. Donald Trump's supposed to go along with it. We're all supposed to be very fearful. But it's like, okay, yeah, maybe it's precautions we took right now because I do believe it's a weapon. See, here's the thing. If it is a weapon, then I do believe precautions should be took. All right, to include this mask that I'm looking at right there. And I might go ahead and wear it tonight. I don't know. I mean, because it was announced that we should. So I might go ahead and do that. All right, but only if it was a weapon would I do that. I'm here to tell you. I don't know about y'all out there. If it was a natural thing like the common cold and it was killing people to this extent and whatnot, I wouldn't bother with the mask. Okay, and as I've stressed before, I'm not a scientist with a lab coat, but it's not hard to go on Google and find out that so many people have COVID-19 or whatever you call it. So many people have it, to include especially these celebrities who can afford to pay for the test themselves, right? So all these celebrities have it. I mean, just a laundry list of them. I come to find out that YNW Melly has it up in jail, dude. Yeah, YNW Melly. Oh man, we're not looking at anything. We need to look at these screenshots before long. In a second, let's go through a news blitz, all right, with these here screenshots. But I gotta stress, YNW Melly has, and you can, you don't believe me, go ahead and Google it. YNW Melly allegedly has COVID-19. Did he get it before he went to jail? That's what I want to know. Did he got some sort of symptoms? Why did he take the test? All right, and in fact, I do believe Tekashi 6ix9ine is getting out of jail because of because of Corona, and a lot of people have a lot to say about that Tekashi 6ix9ine. All right, is he a bad influence? Yes, sorry, Bob. All right, is he a pedophile? Can I even say the word pedophile on YouTube? I don't know, but we're not going to get all into that. The fact is, here's the thing: whether or not Tekashi 6ix9ine is a pedophile, I don't know if that's proven necessarily. I know there's a whole court case and this and that about that young girl. He was also young. We're not going to get into the details. I don't really have an opinion on it. But here's the thing: the pedophiles are definitely getting out. That's for sure. All these, if every single county jail in America, or at least half of them, are letting out prisoners right now, you gotta understand that pedophiles are getting out, right? And that's putting the public at danger, right? And there's maybe criminal elements somehow in a prison population who can't get a job right now, so they're gonna have to just do whatever it takes to survive. Don't you worry about that. But that is happening right now. But see, COVID got into the prisons already, and that's why they're like, oh, this whole COVID thing, we got to shut down prisons and release everybody. And everybody who's out there outside of quarantine, we got to put them in the prisons, all right? The old switcheroo. And I know it sounds like a cartoonish thing, but no, I'm describing exactly what's happening. And so, but it's so widespread. That's what I got to stress. And we've had all this evidence. It's been widespread. We've had it. We've had it for a long time. We've had it for so much longer than they want to claim that we've had it. Let's just put it like that. I can't say if we've had it since November or December, but I'd say probably since December. It's a good guess. All right, and probably before that anyways. But, okay, we have it so much that think about that. If we had it so much, and it's a natural thing, and yeah, it might be deadly, and it might be excruciating actually. I'm not playing that off. It probably is. For some people, they get symptoms. Some people don't even get symptoms, and they pass it on and stuff. Right? If it's a natural thing, guess what? You're not getting away from it. You've been bathing in it this whole time. This whole time. There's no getting away from it. And you can take all these precautions and stuff like that. None of them are foolproof. And all of them actually are susceptible to you getting the virus that's been going around, which is so common that all these celebrities have it. Everybody in prison has it. All these politicians have it. Let's see. Everybody in every small town in Texas has it. So you're starting to get the drift, right? Everybody has it. So as far as a natural thing, if it's a natural thing, it kind of brings me back to The Walking Dead. And I don't really watch TV shows in general, but I especially didn't watch The Walking Dead. In fact, I always disagreed with the premise of it. And that if you're living in a world where you got a group of people, yeah, sure, but you're always having to hunt down and you're being hunted down by zombies. And I've had it explained to me that the whole premise is that eventually you're going to become a zombie. No matter what, you're going to die eventually, and then you're going to become a zombie. And my stance has always been, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna run into the crowd of zombies and I'm gonna become a zombie immediately, dude. I'm not gonna just be all in fear and stuff and be running away from zombies my whole life. It doesn't make sense. All right. And I think we kind of got the same thing right here. It's like, dude, if it's a natural thing that's as contagious as everybody's saying this, you ain't getting away from it. You need to understand that. There is no hiding from it. Hide in a damn hole all you want to. You're not going to get away from it. But if it is a weapon, well, I'd suggest let's wear these masks just in case and stuff, man. If it's a weapon that originated from out of communist China, and they've been lying about it the whole time, and they don't even care if their people die, well, it's kind of interesting, right? So we're about to go through a news place. Oh, man, I see that Big Paul is up in the building as well, all right? So let me check out the comments while we got a little bit of time, all right? Right before we get a lowdown of the news blitz, and I think y'all are really going to appreciate it. But then again, I don't remember what it is that we got. So Rabbi Brenner says, I remember my mom saying a long time ago that China said they were going to ruin the U.S. from the inside out. And, well, whether or not they were saying that, if they wanted to do it, they would be doing exactly just letter for letter what they're doing right now, if they wanted to do that, right? Especially if we don't recognize the methods in which how they do it, and we don't call them out for their BS. This whole time, we've been getting these goods and living fat and sassy, and we know that they're ran by slaves. The thing is, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing here is that you cannot be attached to slavery. The more you're financially attached to slavery, the more you're susceptible to getting your ass handed to you, right? And so that's what we've been doing. We've been sitting fat and sassy with our chin all out, just ready to get clobbered and stuff. So China, there's a lot of people in China who would have the idea that it benefits them to conquer us, and this is how they would do it. Whether or not they intend to do it, they're carrying it out in the so-called media, what they call the legacy media, what they call the traditional media. They are totally in cahoots in a way that I couldn't make it up. I couldn't barely make it up. All right, I don't have that kind of imagination. They're so in cahoots that it's ridiculous. They're so in cahoots that they're probably having homosexual orgies and stuff, and I don't even know if I can say it. I know I can't say that on YouTube, but I know that's what they're doing. And, oh God, they're so in cahoots, dude. That they are. I'm not gonna get kicked off of YouTube right now, you guys. Big Paul says China knew they were going down with that virus. He said they didn't say anything because they didn't want to go down alone, buddy. So they kept quiet and they let it spread so it can ruin the world economy. And China's a very big place. I'm looking at a globe right now. A very big place, all right? I'd imagine there's certain Chinese folks who would be in the royal class, you know what I'm saying? The class with money. And they know where to hide. They know these nooks and crannies. They want to take these precautions. That's what I would suggest. Or you know what I'm saying? This is all unfounded, but at the same time, it's the most probable thing. Is that you know what I'm saying? They don't mind if all sort of people be dying up in their country, especially if they pre-planned it and they thought about it beforehand. All right, and so and the whole idea would be to spread it, and they would even hire. I mean, when, in a country full of slaves, you can hire them to do basically just about anything. So, hire them to go around in the United States and do, and not the United, not just that, Australia, everywhere else, that they had their little fingers in there, and they went and they had people spread it around just by simply touching stuff. And this was months before it ever hit the news, right? Just people touching things, and they have video of people who are Chinese just going around touching things. I'm so racist because they have video of that. All sort of different videos of this, and then not only that, strategically buying up certain things. Oh, it's impossible to go to stores, different various stores throughout a certain town, if you have untold amount of money, and go ahead and buy pallets of their toilet paper off the shelf. Oh, then everybody sees that it's toilet paper, a big pallet missing. Oh man, you can notice that. Oh man, and then the news goes on and says, why is everybody taking the toilet paper? And then guess what? Everybody takes the toilet paper because it was on the news. They're working with the Chinese. It couldn't be more obvious. Couldn't be any more obvious. Makes you wonder how people tie their shoes and walk out the front door in the morning without knowing this, right? How do they do it? It's a spiritual thing. It has nothing to do with intellectual. You can be intellectual as hell and not see this and not see exactly what it is. All right. And so Angela Tate is up in the building. Man, we got 4 people up in the building. We got some dear contributors, and they're all putting it down. All countries work for Satan, period. See, I don't know. And that's where I'll debate everybody. I'll debate anybody. I want to debate, especially the people who are close to me. And I want to really get down in the nitty gritty because you could say, countries work for Satan. You could say money works for Satan. You can say all sort of things. And in a sense, you can see the logic in it, but at the same time, in a different sense, we see countries and nation states as reprieves. The idea of refuges. The fact that there are refugees is because that certain countries are a lot safer than other countries, right? Because we don't have to abide by their, let's say, hypothetically barbaric and stupid laws. And the idea is like, I can't control what you do, but you know what? Go over in your other country and do what you do, and I'll have nothing to do with it. And I'll be over here under a different law that is not so barbaric and disgusting, right? And you might say, "Oh, I'm a mean guy for saying that." Well, I'll stay in my country, and see that's the thing about it. So there's on both sides, but then you can see, oh well, these countries, they also perpetrate on us and stuff, and their laws sometimes perpetrate on us. I totally agree. Yeah. In fact, the more laws you make, the more dangerous society is, I think. I'm pretty sure of it. And just a direct correlation. The more laws you make, the more dangerous it's going to be for you. And the more your people are going to end up in jail. All right? I'm talking about your general populace going to end up in jail. All right? But at the same time, it seems as though, and I got to say, when you say who's they, those people who's after us, what I would contend, and it's just like Alex Jones, but I don't need Alex Jones to tell me that I would contend, number one, communist China, right? Because you can't trust a mumbling word out of their damn mouths, right? And I'm talking about their ruling class. I'm not talking about Chinese people, right? You understand that that's like that's like 1/7 of the people in the world is Chinese. I'm not talking about all them. Saying the people rule over them do not give a damn. Right? And they'll lie to you all day long because it doesn't matter if you find out they're lying, especially when they own your media. Right? So, what I would say is communist parties in China, and also people from every single country who are in cahoots with them, who by very definition of being in cahoots with them, are actually traitorous to their own country and their well-being. And you could maybe call them an international cabal or just global. That would be an Alex Jones term, but globalists. And in that they want to rule over the whole world. They want the illusion of countries, but they don't want to work as countries should work. If they work in the opposite and in cahoots behind the scenes, they get all the benefits, and everybody in every country suffers. And that's their whole plan. So it leads you to believe that they don't actually like countries. Why do they not like countries? Because they have to abide by those certain laws when they're there, and they don't want to abide by any laws. They're lawless, right? Big Paul says Chinese people are quite nice folks. I've met some Chinese people that were just amazing, right? He said, I know some Chinese are they are totally nice. Like I met so many Chinese people. For one, I can think of one right now who created a Chinese food empire, and he's doing what he can to stay in business and stuff. But a Chinese food empire up in San Antonio, right? And he's well known in those sort of circles. And just mad respect. I got mad respect for him. He makes all his money. He drives like BMWs and all this sort of stuff, man. He's real classy. This old Chinese guy. And at the same time, he looks like, first of all, he looks like the Chinese Bon Jovi. I mean it. All right, so that's to give you an idea of what he looks like. And then every single day, basically, I see him at work, or when I used to see him at work, he would always come to work. Every day he comes to work. That's just what it is. Comes to work and works. All right, so that's and then also there's another Chinese fellow I met one time who he himself was basically a refugee. He managed to get into the country of America and escape, and he'll tell you flat out how much the Chinese government, is perpetrating, and that's why he came to America. He had to sneak into America basically, for whatever it's worth. But the thing is, before I came to know him, he actually wound up marrying some lady, right? Thus becoming a legal citizen. Some people, the thing is, it seemed as though the relationship was an organic relationship. He lived with this lady, they were together, for sure, and they were married. All right, but he found himself in a particular situation because she became very abusive in all sort of ways that people don't realize. People are starting to realize more and more that you can be abused as a man in a relationship, and he certainly was in all sort of ways. And he became very, very much an alcoholic. All right, this Chinese man, and and the thing is, he was like already 50 or some odd years old, and he did not even look it, man. He looked just full of like life and stuff. He looked about almost my age, man, into his maybe early 30s, and he was an alcoholic like you wouldn't believe, and it really didn't even make him look older and stuff. And the reason was because he's in an abusive relationship, and nothing he could do about it and stuff. Tried to get out of it. If he tried to get out of it, he'd probably get shipped back to China, right? And so he knew that full well. Chinese people are some of the best people, and I gotta stress when we're talking about these S-hole countries and their S-hole leadership. From what I've seen, from every experience that I've seen, the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the people who are more virtuous and righteous than us by a long shot come from these S-hole countries. And everybody knows it. The reason is because they're so surrounded by S-hole nature and behavior that it refines them like fire, just like it says in the Bible. Like they have no choice but to be extra amazing. They have no choice. And I've noticed that, and I'm not saying that to gas those people. I'm saying that's just fact. Everybody comes out of there is the best of the best, all right? If they can escape out of there with their freedom. All right, Big Paul says, yes, China rules. Man, I appreciate y'all out there, man. Y'all really been coming with this content, and you're saying the things that people really need to hear, probably. I don't know what they need to hear, but y'all know what they need to hear. All right, so let's think about this. He said the China rules. He said he says they rule the world. They rule car manufacturing. Said move to China, medicine. All right, move to China. Apple manufacturing, move to China. All sort of things. And he's right about that. Antibiotics and everything else to China. And that was done on a strategic level. And we're talking about, I don't know exactly the dates and stuff, but I can only imagine we're talking about the early 80s, backdoor deals. And ever since then, the Clinton era, I've heard he did a lot of work with China. All right. And the thing is, we became more and more dependent on China. It's amazing. Why it was so notable is that there was a point in time in American culture, I'm not sure what's the date when this ended, when we didn't have Chinese things. Not really. I mean, you might have imported some Chinese things, but it wasn't notable. And somehow, some way, there was made a switch gradually over time where everything became coming from China. Right? And that was done strategically to make sure that we're absolutely vulnerable. That was done on purpose, right? And so now that we're getting the fact is that it not only was it done on purpose, and not only could we see it beforehand, but that it's actually rocking our worlds right now, right? You couldn't exactly turn away from it and say, oh, whatever, let's keep getting stuff from China and let's just be desperate for this stuff our whole lives, for the rest of our meager lives. It's not going to happen. The landscape has shifted. Now, just get into it. Just to make sure we mention this, it's okay. The people, like I said, communist Chinese, people colluding with the communist Chinese. Trust me when I say Bill Gates and George Soros and all sort of names. Oh, they loving it. They're loving it. Bill Gates especially. All right, and nobody's gonna forget that, dude. Nobody's gonna forget that. This vaccine, man. When y'all are hiding these cures that we've been had, like the malaria disease, that malaria medicine, this and that. When y'all are hiding medicines, you're hiding them. Then how are we supposed to trust your so-called vaccine that you know you're not going to have no time to be able to drum up and it's not even going to work? And if anything, it's going to poison people. So they should know that already, right? And Dr. Fauci can't wait, and he loves talking about a damn vaccine before we can leave our house and say a half a year or so. That's not going to happen, right? So, okay, when we consider all those things, the landscape obviously has changed. Right? People realize we can't even afford to depend on China, and they're about to. That being said, Chinese people or the people who are making this attack, they full well knew what our reaction would be. All right, we have a temperament, we have something of a reputation, and so now that you poked us hard enough, we're really kind of pissed off. Now that you like, it's like, dude, you could take away lots of things from other countries and they'll just have to deal with it. And it's like, this, as far as sanctions and stuff, I can only feel for those countries out there. But if you come to America, for example, and you make it so where the people can't find toilet paper for a couple weeks, you're poking a bear, right? I mean, that's all it really takes is for the switch people on and be like, oh, toilet paper, what? Oh no, but the thing is, it's gonna get worse. Trust me on that. And people are realizing that. And people are realizing the very strategic nature of what China may or may not have done on purpose to us. Right? Bill Gates, the Bill Gates of hell. Ah, buddy. I mean, nobody's going to forget about that. That's the thing about it. Nobody's going to forget about that. So China knows that. Bill Gates knows that. So what are they going to do? They're desperate. They've been desperate. They've been operating out of desperation these past couple of years. And isn't it hilarious? But at the same time, that's just an animal in desperation is just going to make them more desperate. And they're going to start doing things that don't necessarily help them necessarily, but it's their final death throes. Basically, they're like they had to do what they had to do now. If they could have done these things what they're doing now, if they could have done them earlier, they would have definitely done them earlier. They couldn't because they couldn't get away with it. They can't get away with it today either, but it doesn't matter because they're operating in desperation. They gotta throw a Hail Mary. There's nothing that they can do except for this total devastation. It's what they're going for. And they realize that, we're not going to forget about it, actually. There might be some dum-dums out there who just can't wait to take your vaccine, Bill. But I'm not going to take your damn vaccine, all right? And, yeah, I am going to come out the house, all right? I think a lot of people are going to come off the porch. It's going to be a problem for y'all, right? But you've anticipated that problem. So whether or not you would like to, you're going to get more desperate, all right? And the whole time, whether or not Donald Trump is hip to it, which I tend to believe that he is, I tend to believe he hears things just like I hear things. And the thing is, okay, the whole time this is going on, they're reacting. They have these plan Bs, these plan Cs, these plan Ds and stuff. They're reacting, and they're doing very devastating things, realizing that they're past the point of no return. And I think we got to realize that as well. If there's any reason to wear a mask, it's because there's a weapon been put on us, right? And they're past the point of no return. They know we're not going to forget about this. And so they're going to have to kick it, like whether or not they want to, they're going to have to kick it up a notch. What does that look like? I'd like to hear from some of y'all out there what that might look like, all right? But in the meantime, all right, we've been trying to get through this news blitz, so we're going to do it. Big Paul says, y'all need to get the manufacturing back to America. Trump has been fighting for that right from the start, says Big Paul. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. And in fact, low key, you know what I'm saying? I'm an essential worker and stuff, and I know something or a thing or two about manufacturing. And you're exactly right. And here's what I can tell you. And I'm sure the same pretty much goes for the UK and stuff, and where people have been doing this sort of thing. What I can tell you is, yeah, there's certain countries that are good. When in the manufacturing business, there's certain countries that are especially good, and there's certain countries that they'll specialize even in the machines that it's like this, it goes so deep. The machines that manufacture things are becoming so high tech and amazing. That's unbelievable. And I'm not talking just about America. There's all sort of countries out there who are real. The Swiss, the Italians, for example. There's all sort of countries. I could go on. Obviously Germany and stuff like that. But very, very good. And what I gotta explain, and people probably already know that out there, is they're becoming only more and more just sophisticated and right on the money. And just real briefly, I gotta say, there's a lot of different qualities in the manufacturing business. When it comes, if you're talking about China, you're gonna find BS all day, every day. That's the only thing you're gonna find coming out of China being manufactured, right? But when you come here, you're gonna it's just night and day. It's different, and other sophisticated, built-up countries, it's gonna be the same thing, night and day difference. That is to say, the machinery and the personnel using the machinery is so qualified to do what they're doing that you make parts that are just so ridiculous. A lot of people don't even realize how ridiculous. How ridiculous! Like for example, there's little parts that go into big things. All right, so they're parts and stuff, and you put everything together and you create things that are amazing, like tanks and airplanes and this and that, all sort of weapons. But not only that, all sort of things that go into your energy sector, your hospital, your trucking, everything. So anything you can manufacture is a big thing. It's made from small parts, right? And these small parts, especially on how sophisticated your technology is, they got to get more and more and more and more exact, right? It's something that China can never ever pull off in their wildest dreams. But for example, you got certain parts that they had to be what's called intolerance, all right? They had to be exact. Of course, you're never going to see the difference between two parts with your naked eye. It's just, you're never going to do it. But it's so exact to the point it's like, for example, take an inch, all right? In your mind, take 1 inch. I don't know if people in the UK know what that is, but it's like 4 centimeters basically. Take that in your mind, and then divide that by 1,000. All right. So if you could divide that into 1,000, and then go ahead and divide that little sliver that you got right there, and divide that by like 50. Divide that by 100. And that's how close it has to be sometimes. That's how sophisticated you're. And in manufacturing, once you can make this sort of stuff that's so complex and so sophisticated and so right on the money, you could create parts that are just unbelievable. When you see the technology that you see all around you, America's to blame for that. China can produce all they want, but it's a disgusting skeleton of what we pull off. I mean, America and all these other countries, to include the UK, we put it down like that, all right? That's because we got freedom and we got our own lifestyles and stuff, and we're not stressed out about being slaves. That's why we can pull that stuff off, and that's why we need all the manufacturing back. And we should have never let it go. And in fact, everybody who sold us out, oh, they did it for the money. Oh, they did it for the money. Well, that's traitorous, and I don't care what they did it for. All right? Maybe we can't retroactively go and arrest them, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to change some things here, and we're going to change some things in a way that China can simply not afford. It's unfortunate for them, right? And I don't wish them no ill will, but they probably going to start doing whatever they had to do on their own time. Meanwhile, that's going to be devastating. It's basically an act of war, right? I don't know how to put it. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and break the news, but we're in a war with China. But not only China, but people in cahoots with them. In fact, in a sense, you could forget China. and go directly to war with those who are in cahoots with China. Who's that? I don't know. The people who run around acting like they're too dumb to know that they're supporting China's agenda. Those acting like we didn't realize what we were doing. And we still haven't even gone through a dang news blitz, all right? We're about to even wind it down. We don't even have any more time. But let's go through the news blitz before we, run out of time. But Paul says that the UK used to make everything: cars, military ships, aircraft, engineering, steel industry. Now we don't make anything. Everything was sold. Can you believe it? And then not only that, they packed y'all full of refugees who don't even really care for your culture, it seems. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And here's the thing, everybody should know the history out there. As far as America, oh, you say make America great again. Oh yeah, it was the greatest country on the world one time. But before that, it was England. Right, and you could argue at the same time it was England. We were always neck and neck, but England and the UK, they're who taught us. They are who taught us how to do that. Right? And there's other countries involved and stuff. A lot of people settled in America, but it was the UK who taught us how to ball out of control, right? And they got sold out just like we got sold out. So he says, "Do you watch Dr. Steve Hurley?" And I said, "No." All right, because I don't know who that is, but it sounds good. He says he's good. I like him. Dr. Steve Hurley. All right, while we go through this news blitz, if you can, Paul, just give us just the briefest of synopsises of what Dr. Steve Hurley does or why we should like him. I got a feeling I will like him, but I just want to know before I Google it. Google it later. Anyways, let's go through a screenshot rundown. Just to wind it down, we got 5 people up in the building, and I can't even hardly believe it, dude. I appreciate the crap out of y'all. Whether or not you like it, and I appreciate all the people who's going to come through. And I know we should have been off of YouTube by now, but it's so easy. And not only that, the people on YouTube. That's what I come for, man. I've been hearing stuff from Big Paul. I've been hearing stuff from Brenda. She said Bill Gates, the gates of hell. And she was right on point, just like every single other time before. I've never known a time where Brenda was not right on the tippy top of the point. All right? So I appreciate y'all. And we're going to go ahead and wind it down and stuff. And I do want to hear about Steve Hurley and what the heck he's talking about. A Dr. Steve Hurley. All right. Safer at home. Wait, let's look through some of these screenshots. Safer at home. May not be safe for victims. So I totally forget why I take these screenshots, but then I remind myself. And just like I said a while back, and just like you knew already in your mind, but know that a lot of people didn't realize this. Because all those propaganda, like I said, people cooperating with China and releasing all sort of propaganda that doesn't make any sense. Now you can go and check out all the dozens and dozens of headlines of how this COVID-19 crisis is supposed to make everybody horny and go have all sort of relations and have the time of their lives. And it's beyond preposterous. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's so disgusting. And it's like, not only that, it's not news. Like, nobody can use this information except you wanted to, and it is going to be propaganda, and it's going to work on people who are the Walking Dead, if you will, the half asleep people. They're going to feel like they're being peer pressured into performing, relationally with their pent up partner with them, and that's only going to exacerbate the fact that y'all are slipping and tripping right now. Right? You should be thinking about more important things actually right now. But it's all sort of propaganda. Meanwhile, the only difference that it was going to make on anybody's life is that it's going to definitely increase the amount of domestic violence, for sure. Right? And, the news might have wanted to talk about that, a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about it. But they're coming along, all right? They'll catch up with us. Anyways, deputies want more info about Broward Sheriff's employees infected with COVID-19. The only reason I took this screenshot is because look, everybody has it. I don't know how much proof you would need. And I know the people probably in the audience are right there with me. I'm not really talking to y'all, but everybody has it. It's like, dude, we got to go around and talk to people like children. And let's be precautious. Yeah, maybe wear a mask and stuff. But everybody already has it. And it seems as though it's a weapon from communist China. And they're colluders. Right? And I don't mean to mince words. It's like, dude, it's ridiculous. Everybody has it. What are we running from? Anyways, oh man, don't see that. I was making payments. Oh man, earlier today, well, it has nothing to do with anything, but I found out there's only one person named Gabe Bowser. It's really weird, right? That's something to do with something else, right? I was trying to find out how many people were named Keanu Reeves, all right? If anybody's ever been stupid and on the internet, and the first thing that popped up was how many people are named Gabe Bowser. I don't know how to, but then it's like, I didn't type in anybody's name. It said how many people are named Gabe Bowser. And then I became curious. I was like, well, damn, dude, if that's the first thing that pops up, then how many people are named Gabe Bowser? And kind of find out it's only one person named Gabe Bowser in all of America. I don't know why they brought that up. Anyways, like I said, dude, everybody has it. All right? How much evidence do you need? Everybody. Everybody. All right? It's obvious. All right? So that's why we should react in kind. All right? And I think everybody here agrees. And the fact we got 6 people is blowing my damn mind. All right? For the last person who walked in that door, I appreciate you. You're the best. You're the best ever. All right, we got 6 people. And I want to tell you, everybody's got it. All right. YMW Melly's got it. Everybody's got it. All right. And they've been had it. So I think everybody in here agrees that no matter what country you're in, you're breaking yourself off. And a lot of people are out of a job. I'm not. Some people might still have their job. But either way, it's definitely detrimental to us for other people not to have their jobs. All right. And so let's stop breaking ourselves off just the way that they're telling us. And especially in America, they're telling us. I know some countries, they've already gotten past the lockdown mode. In our country, they're like, maybe let's do it for 2 years. Or we don't even know. Let's just do it forever. It's like, guess what? That's not even possible. Right? And it's an act of war. Jared Kushner is going to get us all killed. See, it's this kind of stuff, man. All right, let's do a news blitz right after this frame. All right, and we're just going to run through them. But let's take a second on this one. And like I said, they're traitorous. And I don't know Jared Kushner from Adam. I don't know all the stuff he's done. I'm saying when you put out headlines, you're in the New York Times, says that he's going to get us all killed. And I know that you mean everybody in the country. How is that not criminal? How is that not breaking it some sort? If we're going to have laws, wow. All right. I don't know. Besides actually knocking on my front door and coming and me opening the door and you stabbing me in the gut, I don't know what else you had to do to prove that you hate my guts and my lifestyle. All right. So anyways, let's go through just real quick a news blitz and then I'll catch up with y'all in the comments. We're going to have to wind it down. And I appreciate y'all. Hasher Jalal Taheb pleads guilty for planning attack on the White House. That's the face of someone who's planning an attack on the White House, all right? Maybe that's a big deal. I don't know if you heard about that. That's a cover song that they did. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to wake people up. He also allegedly told the FBI that he did it to wake people up. I don't know what he's talking about. I had to. People don't know what's going on here. Oh yeah, I took a screenshot of this. You might have heard that there was a train engineer, and trust me, those people earn a crazy amount of money. Pretty good money. But this guy, he was like, I'm gonna run the train off the tracks and try to hit this ship that's right there on the dock called the Comfort, and to prove something. That's like I don't know what the hell. Right? There could have been no sense to it. He had to be on drugs. He was probably, to be honest, a targeted individual, and just completely with Donald Trump syndrome and stuff. He wanted to run a train into a boat. Right? And he said he wanted to do it to wake people up. It's like the headline should be, this crazy guy said some crazy gibberish and he's a criminal terrorist. But instead, the headline is LA engineer derailed train near USNS Mercy over, quote, conspiracy theory. They want to make everybody criminal. That's the whole thing. That's why they do it. Conspiracy theory. All right? It's ridiculous. NBA players, this is kind of like way back. I mean, none of it ever made sense. Look, NBA players, avoid high-fiving. And this was a while back, and I just took because I thought it was funny. Not very long ago, on March 4th, before the world totally was put on its ear, the NBA was talking about to avoid high-fiving. To avoid high-fiving, because that might transmit the disease. Y'all are playing with the same ball that y'all are all touching with your hands. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they expect us to be beyond retarded, all right? Beyond it. We've all went to kindergarten. Well, some of us haven't gone through kindergarten, but I mean, just wild stuff. People are going through drive-in funerals and watching it on the big screen, right? We're trying to go through a news blitz right here, all right? If you didn't know, there's a new milkman in San Antonio. No, I didn't Photoshop this, all right? For those who are seeing the visuals, no, I didn't Photoshop this. You can catch this on News for San Antonio, and we got a new milkman in town, all right? Don't mess with this guy. No, I don't want milk from him, but he's helping out the community. All sort of just everything's going down. The world could soon run out of space to store oil and blah 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 whatever else. People breaking themselves off. However, Bernie voters threw in with Biden and changed the primary. Just take a hey look. I'm not trying to incriminate these people, but this is the face of evil, and everybody should know it. That is the face of evil. You're not going to see something hardly more evil, and some people don't know what I'm talking about. But those people who have discernment, look at these faces. There's hardly nothing more evil in the world, right? And that's ridiculous. But Zantac, FDA calls Zantac products to be pulled from the market immediately. It turns out they might give you cancer, right? I already freaking knew that. And coincidentally, they just started recently prescribing it to little babies, and I mean it, little babies, for colic and stuff. Zantac. I mean it. They really been doing it. They've been really giving people, to include babies, cancer-causing agents through the Zantac, just like I said they did a long time ago. But they're admitting to it now. List of San Antonio area businesses that will be open and closed on Easter. That's devastating. We're Roman Catholic, basically, and Easter is kind of a big thing. But anyways, Governor Abbott clarifies orders saying it requires all Texans to stay home and stuff and this and that, and it's just a part of our daily lives, right? Seems to be an attack from China. Obama slums rollback of vehicle emission standards and rare rebuke of Trump, and we discussed that last time, all right? So it looks like we took care of everything recent. All right, we got that out of the way. I don't know if there's anything else going on in the world, but that's basically what I see for today. And I'll let you know probably tomorrow the update for San Antonio, because just like everywhere else, and we are over time, but I just want to stress this. San Antonio has become a stronghold for Democrats who don't give a damn about what happens to San Antonio, all right? And will sell us out at any opportunity, and they'll look like just a milquetoast Mexican Obama, all right? And so they're selling us out the whole time. And just like I said since day one, what's going to take place is they're going to drum up the numbers and hype up the numbers. And it's going to be fear-mongering at very definition. It's going to be the definition of it. And every single day they're going to come on and say this and that just to fearmonger. And they're going to pretend like they're not doing it. And every day it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And their grip is going to get tighter and tighter on our liberties and our freedoms, and that is for a reason. And they're going to play and pretend like they're out for your safety. And so with that being said, I can't tell you what the mayor of San Antonio said today because I don't know, but surely he said something very disappointing. Quite disappointing, and probably anti-Trump, all right, for whatever it's worth. And Big Paul says, I keep telling my son to stay in, but he won't. So I told him. He will end up in a cell. That's kind of interesting. Big Paul, you might be especially correct over there in the UK. As we discussed, they've gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole, if you will. But what I got to stress now, and what everybody knows, I'm not really disagreeing. And of course, it's your son, and I believe in parental rights, and you're responsible for, being a father. It's not me. But I want to say this. You're probably right about what you're saying. And at the same time, if that were to carry on into even a semi-permanent mentality of I can't go outside or I will be put in prison, then I would suggest, is no point to living. You might as well not live anymore. And I know I certainly wouldn't want to live. Like, it's one thing to be in prison in society and you get all locked up, even if it's on false pretenses. And it's like, yeah, you got to accept your situation. It's another thing when your whole country has been put on lockdown and y'all are all criminals now and can't do anything for until we tell you not to do something. That's never happened in history, and it seems to be like some sort of maneuver in a permanent stranglehold on us. And so, in a sense, we could look at the youth and their carefreeness and stuff and see it as like, kind of naive. And in a sense, it is. But I think it's also proven as an agent for like the fact is that even as adults, you think you can run things. Nah, not necessarily. As adults, you can't really run things with your laws and stuff necessarily because there's always going to be teenagers who, if they can, if it's possible, they will make it to spring break. And they will grind all up on each other and stuff like that. You might say, oh, they're dumb and they're foolish. Perhaps they are teenagers and they're going to do dumb and foolish things, especially when our society is so ass backwards and that we sold all ourselves out to China. So they're going to do it, and they've already done it. And definitely the hammer's already dropped. There is no refraining from this virus all over the place. All right. So Big Paul says he's grown up and he's in his 20s now. He said he lives on his own, and I think that's amazing. And I definitely suggest for people to live on their own, right? But he says he has a son as well. Dang, dude, there's something to be said also. God, we've already gone way over time, but let's just give 5 more minutes. There's a lot to be said about just people putting out boys, man. I gotta say, a lot of admiration to people who just be putting out boys and stuff. That was my dad too. Like he put out boys and stuff, but like it seems as though everybody who I know has daughters these days, right? And I can't help but wonder why. Said he's all grown up in his 20s, and then Angela Tate said it shocked me, right? To be honest, he said they're getting like the Gestapo, very much like the Gestapo, right? And just to the point is where it's hard to find out how they're not like the Gestapo. I swear I've been seeing, I heard, okay, just to give you an example, and Alex Jones was actually showing this last night. I was hearing it on a broadcast. And he was showing, on his broadcast yesterday, he was showing somebody who got pinned down and got blood drawn against his will. Did not volunteer for the blood draw, said no to the blood draw, absolutely not to the blood draw, and explained himself very clearly. He was not going to get his blood drawn. They pinned him down and drew his blood. And trust me, it sounded a lot worse than you can even imagine, right? It sounded like a nightmare on Earth, in America. It sounded like a nightmare. It sounded like the worst kind of dystopia type of movie that you could see. That's what it sounded like. I didn't see the video footage, but I heard it. It's unbelievable. All right, Angela Tate says my daughter's neighbor's boy is in his 20s. It's sick what they're expecting them to comply with. It's kind of sick because they're not putting a date on it. If you give a moose a muffin, they're going to want some blackberry jam. That's the problem. You don't give a moose a muffin because they're going to want you to continue, and they're going to pretend like it's an accident the whole time. It was never an accident. It was pre-planned, and we knew that you'd pull these shenanigans. Now you're doing it out of desperation, and we're supposed to comply. And the thing is, like I said, I'm all about precautions, doing what you can. But to break yourself off economically, to ensure that your progeny doesn't have no sort of freedom or liberties, is it worth it? I doubt that it's worth it. Meanwhile, just to get out of here, let's get out of here on this note. While we're building up, we were all here talking. Before we got to this situation, everybody here was talking about the bubbles that our economy is built on, and the perpetrating that's being done behind the scenes against our benefit. The fact is that there's no way that it could continue. We all knew that it couldn't continue. Now we're at a point where, we were exactly right. There's no way it can continue, and it's ending now. All right? We didn't know the time or the place. None of us knew. We were all speculating, and there's some people like Bart Fine who knew it was going to be a bioweapon, and everybody knew there was going to be a bioweapon down the pike. But Bart Fine was very on point when he said it, how he said it. He knew it was coming down because of his intuition. And then everything changed. And whether or not this virus comes and goes, everything has changed. Can't go back now. All right? And people are going to start, drawing their pistols, if you will, in a metaphorical sense, and really standing against things in a way that you never really seen from America necessarily, except back when we were great, right? And we're all out here, and we've already seen it. We've seen what they're going to do. We've seen the way of success. We've seen the life. We've seen the truth. We've seen the water. We've seen Veritas, logos, whatever you're to call it. And we know that these people don't want that. And we know that they're making their move. And I guess that's all we could say about that. The world's changed. And like I was talking about earlier, I do believe that not only is this, you're going to face devastation. Me too. But it's going to be an amount of opportunity that you've never seen before. And in fact, in a sense, God's laughing his ass off. Right? I was actually pondering it earlier, and I'll leave off on this note. I was pondering it earlier. You know how a lot of people say, "Oh, why is God capable of doing all these bad things to us? Why would he let all these bad things happen?" Okay. What I was pondering about and was going through my mind at the time earlier today was that God actually doesn't make anything bad happen. I think people are getting messed up. They don't see it correctly. Actually, bad things happen to us all the time. In fact, bad things should always be happening to us to the point of our destruction. This shouldn't even be possible, what we've been doing, what we've been taking for granted, by the way. Shouldn't even be possible. The only reason life is possible and success and all these freedoms and liberties is because God has intervened in the bad things. The bad things would carry themselves out to fruition until we're all shot ourselves into smithereens. But God actually comes in and he intervenes, and it stops that. And when there's intervention into all the bad things that we deserve, somehow we get just these beautiful countries, these beautiful people, this beautiful everything around us is just amazing and immaculate, and we don't even deserve any of it. It's his intervention. It's like the only thing God does, it seems, is that he lifts his intervention. He doesn't do anything bad. The bad stuff is just what we have coming. All right, and all right, and so far as we're gonna march into the rest of 2020, and I'll holler at y'all, and we're definitely gonna stay in touch and stuff, and I gather strength from y'all, so I appreciate y'all, man. I hope that y'all get something from me and stuff, and just remember, communist China, don't ever trust them, all right? And America first, or UK first, or wherever you're at first and stuff, and people are gonna want to put you down, all right? You're gonna let them stuff you up in the house all day, all right? Or you're a criminal, and meanwhile, let all the criminals out, all right? We know what they're up to. It's April the 3rd, 2020. I got to get ready for work, y'all. So I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.